Hello everyone, I guess hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we're here with a video on whether or not it is worth it to train range with red Chinchompas in old school RuneScape. I'll be doing red Chinchompas because they are the best Chinchompa in my opinion, and also because their prices are at basically an all-time low. If we go ahead and check this out, almost less than 1k. So we are reaching a new territory with these, most likely because of just botting in general. There has been more botting going on because JX has not done as good of a job containing it. If you want to know who to point the finger at, we all know, but nonetheless, here we are with really cheap red Chinchompas. So felt right to do this video because I have a suspicion that they are probably going to be way too good, and it's concerning if their prices continue to stay this low. I'm not sure if they will, but we'll see. Also, I'm not invested in red chins. Anyone that's saying, "Ooh, you probably got bills of red chins in his bank," well, I can go in the bank right now and show you what my investment is. You want to? All right, in the bank, I have 1.1 bill sitting right there. I look up red Chinchompas. Would you look at that? 19. Now, close your eyes if you don't want me to price manipulate, I guess, because people don't trust me. There, 161 anguishes. That's where my money's at, so don't worry about me. I'm not bumping the price of red chins. Leave me alone. So onto the graphs of their yearly prices. In terms of red chins on the year, they went from 1,500 up to almost 2,000 and are now down to 1,000, so a pretty significant drop off. And then with the black chins, over the last 3 months alone, they've gone from 3,200 to 2,600, and they were a bit higher than that before, but just to kind of show you what these things are looking like, it's not great. And over the last month, we've definitely seen a pretty steady decline on both of these. So given their low prices, we got to check out whether or not it's worth it. And we'll start by talking about the assumptions that I'm going to be making for this video, because it's important to know for any test what the assumptions are. So to start, I'll be assuming that you have Monkey Madness 2 completed and 80 range, because, well, you need Monkey Madness 2 for the caves that I'll be going to, and then 80 range is probably just where you're going to be at that point in the game. Given that you have Monkey Madness 2 done, you can also kill demonic gorillas, and if you have 80 range, you should be able to kill Venenatus. These are both really, really good money makers, so that will be useful going forward because I can have a baseline of what your best potential is at least. So those are some money makers I'll keep in mind. Using a blowpipe is worth it for training if you can make over 1.2 mil per hour. So given that you can do demonic gorillas and Venenatus, it is worth it to use a blowpipe when you train rather than a magic short bow or darts or knives or whatever. And finally, the last assumption, it is also worth it to use rigor if you have it, if you have these money makers unlocked, because it's worth it to use rigor if you're over like 400k, 300k. So it's almost always worth it to use rigor. So now onto the setup. The higher setup on the left is using void, and on the right hand side it's kind of a lower level setup if you don't have void yet, or elite void, or maybe if you just want a ton of prayer boosting gear. Realistically, you should be going in void, but it's up to you, and depending on where you're at, depends on what you'll use. These are the setups I use for my XP rates though, and speaking of, we will get into those. So in terms of red chins, depending on what your range level is and what your setup is, at the 80 range mark with the D'hide setup, you can get 480k an hour. And then at 88 with the void setup, you can get 635k an hour, and at 95 you can get 660k an hour with the void setup as well. All very, very good rates for range compared to anything else that you can do in game. So I mean, it's pretty astronomical, but at the same time, it does come at a decent cost. But first, we'll compare this to the blowpipe rates. At 80, you can get 95k, at 88, you can get 113k, and at 95, you can get 120k. These rates for the blowpipe were obtained from a video on whether or not you should use rigor. I also have a video on which ranged weapon is best for you, so both of those will be linked above if you want to check them out and have further information on this stuff. So the rates for the blowpipe are obviously very, very low relative to the red chins. The red chins have anywhere from 4 to 6 times more XP per hour with that method. So going to the cost, we'll see that a blowpipe is 425k per hour, and red chins are close to 1.5 mil per hour. And that's only 3 times the cost. So given that it's going to take you 4 to 6 times more to do this method, and it's only 3 times more the cost, that means you're essentially saving money by doing red chins. Because if you had to do the full amount of time of training to get 1 hour worth of red chins, you would spend more on the blowpipe in scales and darts and prayer pots. So going into this video, I would have assumed that red chins would have cost a good bit more than the blowpipe in comparison, and then that cost would have saved you time, and is that worth it? Who knows? But essentially, you're saving yourself time and you're saving yourself money by doing red chins right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm blown away by the results. I would have thought that, you know, there would have been some downside to ranging with red chins, but there really isn't any. The only thing that I could see that would make red chins not worth doing is if you argued that you would be doing money-making methods with range. You know, Vorkat's an option, Zolra's an option, Venonat's, Revs. There's so many different ways to make money with range that investing that time into actually making money in a meta way is definitely better than just getting the XP through a method of losing money. So I get that a lot of people might spend their time ranging for moneymakers, and that's personally what I did for a couple of my accounts. But if you ever need to go and train range on your own, it is by far worth it. And maybe even if you want to get through some of like the earlier levels of range because you're not really feeling like it, could be worth it as well. So yeah, definitely some interesting results. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Anything you want to tell me, anything you want to see me compare in the future, let me know in a comment down below. On top of that, if you guys want to see more videos as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. Patreon, Twitter, and Discord all in the description. And with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.